any other fighter would ask for $150 million or $200 million to fight somebody, what you think would be said if Floyd did that? Terrence did that. Or anybody did that. So you don't get no pass because you Canelo. You're going to be called out like everybody else, whether you like it or not.
Will this be a stain on his career if he doesn't fight Benavidez?
Listen, man, it's not just the Benavidez thing. It's been happening throughout his career, you know? And I have always, I'm not, like, here go the thing, bro. Like, I can walk and chew gum at the same time. I've been commentating a long time. I've been speaking out about things, and I don't speak out about a lot of things that I see. So I'm not trying to garner headlines. No, I'm just not. It's not easy. I can say something reckless right now and blow up the internet. It's not what I'm trying to do. Okay. But if it's something that needs to be spoken about, or somebody asks me about something, I'm gonna talk about it.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? You know, the first boxer to go off code and start completely exposing Canelo Alvarez years ago was Juan Manuel Marquez. He was the first person to completely air out Canelo, expose what he was doing, fighting the smaller guys, fighting guys coming off of their worst performances, etc., etc., etc. And when Canelo found out that Marquez was exposing him, Canelo got so mad, he challenged him to a fight. Even though Canelo was fighting at 154 and Marquez was fighting at like 130 or 135, Canelo, he couldn't deal with that criticism, so he wanted to fight the little guy. After Marquez came out and criticized what Canelo Alvarez was doing, other Mexican legends, they came out and they start criticizing Canelo. From Marco Antonio Barrera to Eric Morales, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. At this time, they were the only boxers that was willing to criticize Canelo Alvarez. Now, the only person that was exposing Canelo Alvarez completely and thoroughly before Marquez was me, of course. So you had Mexican boxers that were not afraid to come out and completely expose Canelo Alvarez. But when it came to the black boxers, oh, they were terrified. They were scared to death of saying anything bad about Canelo. In fact, they were talking as if Canelo was better than they were. The next person to completely come out and expose Canelo Alvarez was a white person, a white analyst by the name of Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas started exposing him. And at the time that Teddy Atlas, and once again, the Mexican boxers were doing this, the black boxers, they were terrified to criticize Canelo Alvarez. Because see, when the black people do it, they get called racial slurs immediately on Instagram, on Twitter, etc., by Mexicans. That's the one thing that doesn't happen to non-black people who criticize Canelo. No one's gonna call Marquez or Barrera a racial slur for criticizing Canelo, obviously, right? They're gonna just say, oh, he's jealous, he's hating. Even with Teddy Atlas, Mexicans are not gonna call a white person a racial slur because a lot of Mexicans, they aspire to be a white person. That's why to this day, you'll hear some Mexicans just flat out tell you they're white. Matter of fact, I remember growing up in California, there used to be so many Mexicans that would literally tell me they wish they were white. And I would always say, why not just be proud of who you are? This is what God made you. And this is the exact reason why when Freddie Roach, he went on a racial rant and he called Robert Garcia a Mexican racial slur, and I made a video on it. The only people that were mad about the video were not white people, it was Mexicans. Mexicans were in my comment section dissing me because of what Freddie Roach said about Mexicans. Even though Robert Garcia and his own assistant said on camera that Freddie Roach said something racist about Mexicans. Mexicans were still telling me it wasn't racist at all because they feel if they have to acknowledge that that was racist towards Mexicans, then that means they would have to admit that they're not classified as white. So once again, with that being said, this is the reason why they're not going to say anything racial about Teddy Atlas. But when black people say something about Canelo, if black people say the exact same thing about Canelo, that's when Mexicans feel extremely comfortable to go all the way in. And this is the reason why for years you had so many black fighters that were praising Canelo Alvarez like he was the greatest fighter of all time. Fighters like Shakur, Gervonta Tank Davis, Devin Haney. They were saying these type of things at the same time that Teddy Atlas and all the great Mexicans were completely exposing and criticizing Canelo Alvarez. But the black fighters, they were saying these things because they were trying to get the Mexicans' acceptance. A racist will never accept you because it's never been about what you say. It's always been about who you are. This is the reason why I always speak the truth unapologetically, and all of you guys should do the same thing. Don't be afraid of these racists. So once again, there was a time where almost everyone was afraid to speak on Canelo Alvarez. Now, everyone is completely exposing Canelo for who he is. The only people now that are defending Canelo Alvarez are Mexican fans, racist Mexican fans, and racist reporters. Matter of fact, Canelo Alvarez, he just did an interview with one of these racist Mexican reporters when he was responding to what Andre Ward said. Now, I'm going to play this clip of this interview, and I want you guys to pay attention to what the Mexican guy is saying to Canelo Alvarez. How he asks a question and then he answers his own question with his own biased opinion answer. Because he's having a hard time getting Canelo Alvarez to say the things he wants him to say, he starts saying these things himself. Check out this clip.
Congratulations, man. Thank you for this, giving us this big fight. Man, Andre Ward, had some criticism about you. He said kind of look at his record. Some of the guys were older. He was ducking people. But, Andre Ward had a couple questionable things on his record as well. Just what was your reaction to that?
I have nothing to say about him. He can say whatever he wants. Maybe he wants a fight with me, but he never gonna get it. He wants a payday, maybe.
Do you think that's what it is? Do you think it's maybe like jealousy or something like that?
What else? I never met him. I never talked to him. I never say anything about him. What else?
Could it possibly be that you're not fighting David Benavidez, the guy that the whole boxing world wants to see you fight? So first of all, the reporter, he starts off the interview by saying, "Thank you for this great fight against Munguia," which is like basically saying, thank you for not fighting David Benavidez, when you know that the whole world wants to see the David Benavidez fight. I'm telling you, Mexicans, just like almost all the other boxing fans, feel that David Benavidez is going to win that fight. And if Canelo is going to lose that fight, Mexicans would rather not see it. Then the reporter, he goes on to say, Andre Ward, he's been saying that you've been ducking people, et cetera, et cetera. And then before Canelo can even answer, the reporter, he then says, but Andre Ward, he had a couple questionable things on his record too. First of all, when people criticize Canelo Alvarez, they're criticizing him for his level of opposition, for him not taking the toughest challenges and him picking easier opponents instead. This is what Canelo Alvarez has been doing for years. So what do you mean when you say Andre Ward has done some questionable things as well? Andre Ward has never ducked anyone. Every single time smoke was available, Andre Ward, he went after the smoke. Andre was trying to fight Gennady Golovkin. HBO, they blocked that fight. So Andre Ward was forced to take on a tougher challenge by moving up in weight and fighting his version of David Benavidez, which was an undefeated Sergey Kovalev, who was considered pound for pound #1 on some of the pound for pound lists at the time. Andre Ward wasn't fighting the old beat up Kovalev that Canelo Alvarez fought, a guy who had already been knocked out twice and was towards the end of his career. So what questionable thing is this guy talking about when it comes to Andre Ward? He sounds like the typical racist Mexicans that you see in the comment section every day defending Canelo Alvarez. But the real ironic thing is this answer, or this question that was answered already, that Canelo Alvarez finally responded to. He responded by saying, I have no comment. I have nothing to say about it. So this reporter, once again, he tried to force Canelo to say all of these things, and Canelo didn't really say anything about Andre Ward, other than maybe Andre Ward wants to fight me. Maybe he wants a payday. And that's when the interviewer says, oh, so he's just jealous. You think that's what it is? And then he titles his video, Jealous Andre Ward. What is Andre Ward jealous of? A man that tested positive for PEDs as a cheater? A man who suffered 2 losses, never avenged either one of the losses, and has a whole bunch of controversial wins? A fighter who loses almost every single time he takes on the toughest challenge of his career? If Andre Ward is jealous of anything, he's jealous that David Benavidez wasn't in his division when he was fighting, because Andre Ward, he would have fought David Benavidez in a heartbeat. Honestly, because of David Benavidez's style, if David was in anybody's division, if he was in Crawford's division, if he was in Javante's division, Devin Haney's division, Shakur Stevenson's division, they would have all fought David Benavidez in a heartbeat. Canelo is the only fighter that does not want to fight David Benavidez. Out of all of those names I just mentioned, Canelo is the only fighter that does not have the confidence that he can beat a David Benavidez. Neither does that Mexican interviewer that was just interviewing Canelo Alvarez. Andre Ward is an American gold medalist. He won the Super 6 tournament as a pro, a tournament that he was expected to lose. He was the underdog in that tournament. In that tournament were two fighters that were already on the top 10 pound-for-pound list. He ended up beating them both. He went on to beating even more fighters that were currently on the pound-for-pound list before he retired. Andre Ward not only retired undefeated, but just like Floyd Mayweather, he retired as the #1 pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Here Canelo Alvarez is at age 33. He's not even close to the #1 spot on the pound-for-pound list. When you talk about being jealous, Canelo is the one that wants to be undefeated, and he wants to be the best fighter in the world, and he wants to retire as the best, like Andre Ward, like Crawford might do, like Floyd Mayweather did. It's not the other way around. Who wants to have a career like Canelo Alvarez? I mean, sure, he has a lot of money, but so does Al Heyman. Bob Arum has a lot of money. That doesn't mean they're the best boxers in the world. So according to this guy that was interviewing Canelo Alvarez, all of these boxers and boxing fans that wants to see the best fight the best, they're just jealous. But this guy, he never accused anyone of being jealous when people wanted to see Crawford fight against Spence. I guarantee you, this same Mexican reporter, he don't want to interview Andre Ward talking like this because Andre Ward would make him look stupid with nothing but facts. I want you guys to really start paying close attention to some of the questions that these guys are asking because it tells you everything about them, who they are, and what they're about. This guy who was interviewing Canelo Alvarez, he has no integrity. He has no professionalism. He's just another race fan pretending to be a reporter. This video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado.
I got
an
so much
emerging
more to
hub
say
for
about
combat
this
sports
topic,
and
but I got to wrap
high-altitude
this
training.
video up
If you're
right
a fighter
now.
inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues. So make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.
All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called LO Key Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to LODkey.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.